Hey everybody, it's the real deal DJ Extreme here, and I posted a question on Facebook yesterday. It was kind of late, so I kind of held off on this video. I asked you guys to ask me questions about my DJ career, maybe how I got started, you know, what got me to where I am today. So, within the next few minutes, it's going to take a little while, but within the next little bit, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you guys asked. There's quite a few here. There's about a dozen questions specifically that I chose that I'm going to read here for you guys. So let's get started right here, right now. Here it is. All right. So, question number one is from Nicole. She asked, when did you first know you wanted to start DJing? I've loved music since before I can remember. I actually started listening to hip-hop, specifically Eminem, when I was about 12-ish years old. This would have been back in about 2000. But I kind of listened to a little bit of stuff before that. I was big into Metallica at the time. Metallica was kind of still in, but they were kind of fading out at the same time. Limp Bizkit, who was supposed to make a return last year. I didn't get a chance to check out the CD. But anyways, to go back to the question, like I said, I really started when I was young. I started when I was about 11 or 12, really grasping that I wanted to become a musical sensation somehow. I didn't know how. I didn't know, whether it would be playing an instrument or doing it vocally, or doing what I do today, spinning the tables. So that's how I really decided, I have a passion for music. I want to put it into a perspective that everybody will remember. So that's kind of how I got there. All right. So question number 2 asked, how big is your music collection? Well, right now, my current PC musical collection is 7,588 tracks, 248 or 284 folders. And the way I arrange my music is I do it by artist, or I do it by like if somebody sends me something. A lot of my music is set so that when I get it, I either have the CD. One of the biggest collections I have is probably Nickelback. Nasty from right here in town. I have all his stuff on here. I've got Theory of a Dead Man. I've got Dark Halo. Everything that she's sent me so far. I pretty much have a wide variety of a lot of things. A lot of remixes. People send me mixes all the time. Dark Intensity, he gets mixes all the time. So that's where I get a lot of my music from. I get it from CDs or artists. But there is the time where somebody sends me a track and says, hey, check this out. So, I just kind of chuck it in another folder. I have a separate, a separate folder to, where I want to put it. And I put it in there, and I listen to it, and if I like it, I keep it. If I don't like it, well, I throw it in the trash, so to speak. So that's currently my music selection right now. I do have a lot more CDs that I have to put on, but as I said, my current is about 7,000. So the next question says, where was your first live DJ show? My first live show was back in 2007, right here at the Yarmouth Mariner Center, hosted by DJ Hartley Reid, who currently works at the radio CJLS. He got a bunch of DJs together. There was myself, DJ Blang from Barrington. There was Hartley, my good friend Tyler Dulong, and a couple other local DJs that got together at the Yarmouth Mariner Center, and we all just put on a big show. We all had about 45 minutes to pick our own tunes. Back then, Rihanna was the big thing, just coming out. So was, so it's hard to explain musically who was coming out at the time, because there was so much good music at that time. Justin Timberlake was still pretty big at that time. Eminem was huge at that time with some of his tracks. But yeah, and to add to the question, I know it wasn't asked, but there was probably about, I'd say, 5,000 people that showed up, between 2,000 and 5,000 people that actually showed up to this venue, to this event, and I honestly choked on stage. I kind of got a little head rush sidetracked, and I lost concentration. So I try to lower myself to what I do, as far as events. But I have done other stuff in the past. I've done weddings, I've done school dances, I've done birthday parties, I've done, just house parties. I've even hosted a couple here, just cranking the tunes, just having some fun. So, but yeah, my first live DJ show, like I said, was back in 2007, right here at the arena, and it was pretty much the launch to everybody knowing who I was. Nasty, aka Curtis, asked me, where did I get the name DJ Extreme? Funny story. I'd say it's a funny story. I actually started, when I first started, I was kind of jumbling through names. I couldn't really decide. I went through DJ Slick. I tried going through DJ Ryan. It just didn't feel right. And then one day, back in 2009, 2008, I was doing a DJ show through Ustream, and somebody had come in, and it was just a random person, and they said, you have an extreme talent for this. And they emphasized the extreme, and it was a bigger lettering. They actually had it bolded and everything. Like back then, you could bold it because of the IRC channels and stuff. I kind of slept on it for a little while, and I said, extreme. It really puts a lot into what a person accomplishes. It's a very grasping word. It takes control of you. So that's where I got that. And to expand on the question a little bit, the real deal part of my name, I actually come up with myself. I used to call myself the King of the Mic back when I did internet radio heavily with King Killer and DJ Six and Chris Stevens. And Killer, King of the Mic, King, it really didn't suit me, because we always called him the internet radio king, the king of internet radio, and I wanted something different, and I wanted to be known as the real deal. I wanted to be known as something that was out there, that would give you the best performance that you could possibly have, no matter where I was. So I kind of sat there and I said, real deal. It kind of has a ring to it, yet it rhymes at the same time. So that's where I got Real Deal from, and like I said, back about 2008, 2009-ish, it was in between, is where I got DJ Extreme from a fan who doesn't listen to me anymore, which really sucks. Come in and just randomly said, "You are an extreme DJ." So that's where I got the name DJ Extreme. So, the next question. What is your favorite song of all time and why? My favorite song of all time started back in 2003. The band Finger Eleven come out as Finger Eleven. And they come out with a song called One Thing. And that was the same year that I actually started DJing. Back in 2003, I started in like late 2003. It was like June. My sister had passed away that year, and the song One Thing had just come out around the same time, and I listened to it, and I kind of got grasped to it. It really caught my attention. It really caught my eye because of the one thing that my sister always taught me growing up was there is a brighter side to life. And even if something or someone gets you down, there's always something or someone that'll pick you right back up. So that's kind of where I got that. And that's kind of how I seen the song at the time. There's always one thing or one person that will always bring you back to the level where you were meant to be. And to this day, the song still stays with me. I still see that song as my sister being that one thing that really keeps me going and keeps me doing what I do today. So that is probably my all-time favorite tune. I really don't have any other favorites at this moment. I am a big fan, though, of the song When We Stand Together by Nickelback, which was just released this year. So that's probably in the same wavelength of being my favorite. But of all time, Finger Eleven's One Thing, by far, favorite tune, always will be. All right, the next question is a outside of Facebook fan, but they got somebody on Facebook to ask me a question. And the question was, who is my favorite co-host? I really can't answer that. I've had so many different co-hosts on the show with me, but as far as continuous co-hosts, I'm going to actually not single out one person alone. Nasty, Caitlin, and Chris, and Nicole are in the top 5. 4 of 5. As for the 5th, King Killer. I like I said, I can't really single out a certain one because they all have different moments on the mic and on the show than others. Myself and Curtis just did a CD release not long ago. That was probably the memorable moment as far as right now that actually stands out to the 2011 shows. A lot more to come in 2012. Myself and Curtis are preparing a few shows for you guys. He's doing a political show, and we're, between the two of us hosting it together, we're going to do a show where we play local music, local being Nova Scotian. So, you know, we're gonna get a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna play everything from rap to rock. And I think that'll be a big experience with the co-host shows. So right now, Curtis is on the top as of right now. But like I said, I'm not singling any one of them out. Anybody that I have on the show is just awesome. So the next question is a two-part question. How do you choose the order of the music you play, and how do you choose the flow? I can actually answer that in one question. The order that I play my music in depends on the flow. I start off, normally when I do shows, especially radio shows, I start them off slow, and I work my way up into the heavier stuff, depending on the type of show. Unless I'm doing a dance mix kind of show, then I usually start off with the slow stuff. One Republic's Good Life, I'll use as an example. Start off something slow like that, work my way up, maybe some Nickelback, slide into the heavier Nickelback, and then work my way into like the Metallica stuff. If I'm doing a hip-hop kind of show, I'll start off with something like Eminem's When I'm Gone. And I'll go into something like Usher's More. Then I'll slide into Tech Nine. You know, I really have a set way of doing things, and if I go from heavy to slow, or slow to heavy really quick, then I usually chuck a liner in between. Unless I'm doing a live show, then I kind of just find a song to chuck in between so that I can kind of just gradually make my way into the heavy stuff, into the dancier fun stuff. Okay, so the next question is a repeat question of something that was asked earlier on in the video. And I said that I can answer it in two parts. I told them that on Facebook. I said I can answer it in two parts. So the question again was, who are your favorite guests to have on your show? And I answered the microphone segment of who I like having on the show. Now I'm going to go into more of a musical standpoint. One of the biggest, actually two of the biggest inspirations I love having on the show is Dark Halo and Nasty. I find both their music speaks volumes. Actions speak louder than words. Yes, I'm going to use that analogy because the action of how they bring out the music speaks a little bit louder than the actual words in some cases, but the words are what actually counts. But it's just how they present it out into words that really speaks the volumes. Curtis with the political music, you know, the martial law EP, and Sarah Dark Halo with the way that she talks about, you know, life. You know, she speaks true life, relationship volumes in her music, and to me that's inspirational. as well as Curtis's, with some of the stuff that he writes about. It's inspirational. There was one analogy, or one conspiracy, I'll say, that I made the other day. I call it a conspiracy because it was weird to me. That Curtis and in his music is a lot like Nickelback, with the song "When We Stand Together," because they talk about things that are life issued, and that's one of the things that really brought my attention to both styles of music, was how they present it out and how they bring a point across. So, again, my two favorites are Dark Halo and Nasty, because their music just speaks volumes, and it speaks to me. So that's why. The next question, guys, says, what's the longest DJ collabo show you did, and who was it with? There's actually two answers. I've done two different occasional long collaboration shows. One of them was with Chris Stevens himself. We did probably about 12 hours. Just between the two of us, or both of us on the air at the same time. Another one was Mike. We did quite a bit of time on air together back in the old KT days, old Killer Tunes days. And that pretty much, in itself was probably the two longest times that I've had on air. I've done a lot of different solo shows that were long. My longest solo show was about 8 hours. I went on pretty much all afternoon, and I didn't get off until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So that was probably that. But Chris probably takes the cake when it comes to being on air with the longest, because me and Chris have done a lot of shows together, and we've spent a lot of time yapping and just shooting the shit while we're on air. So Chris is the guy that I've spent the most time with on air. All right, so the last question says, what is your favorite memory of DJing, and what do you look forward to throughout the rest of your career? My favorite memory, as of right now, I'm going to have to say, was the very first gig I did back at the Mariner Center. That, for me, was a big eye-opener. It was something that marked the stepping stone to my career. And I really couldn't have asked for a better time. There was just so many people there, so much support. As far as what I want to do for the rest of my life, where I want to go, I hope to get into producing. Whether it be with somebody local, Nasty, Dark Halo, whether, somebody big hits me up and says, I like what you do. I want you to come with me and do the rest of your life choice with me. Then I'll do it. Do I expect it? Not really. But, one can only hope. I do hope, like I said, to get into producing, producing some CDs, some albums, some single tracks. I'm hoping to get Dark Halo's CD out very shortly. Time will tell what my career will bring. And again, the first time I DJ'd, the first big gig was the big eye opener. All right, guys, I'm gonna get a little serious here. These were a couple blooper questions that some of the people had asked me. A lot of people wanted to know who my favorite listener was. So I said, I'll throw this on as a blooper. Something that I won't answer seriously, in the personal segment of the show. Yeah, nobody's my favorite. You guys are all awesome. You guys just, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. So that's how that stands. One of the other questions was, is it really true you fatball DJ? I know you guys can already guess that was Dark Halo that asked something like that. No, I don't. I don't resolve into doing stuff like that. It's just not my forte. It's just not something I want to keep. Not something that I want to keep in my mind. I have better things to do. So, no. That's not true. That this next little piece is just a blooper that was on there. I had to chuck it in there. Somebody had asked a question, it was already asked. They said oops. So that's where that comes from.